call this meeting to order. And do I do the roll call, or is someone else doing that?
I can do roll call per usual.
Okay.
Yep. Matt?
Present.
Caitlin? Other Matt? He's not here. Okay. David?
Here.
Sean?
Here.
Najla?
Here.
Nolan?
Here.
Emma? Me? Here. John? Jessica? Anna?
Here.
Sarah?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, the next agenda item is approval of agenda. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the agenda? First of all, does anyone have anything to add to the agenda or to change?
Nope.
Hearing no changes or additions, are there any objections or I guess I need to wait for someone to make a motion. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda. A second?
Second.
Okay, hearing no objections, that agenda is approved. The next item is approval of the meeting minutes from last month. Does anyone have any revisions to the meeting minutes from last month? Any changes?
No.
No changes.
Okay, then would someone make a motion to approve the minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
Hearing no objections, the minutes are approved. Is there, would anyone like to speak from the public? I think
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
Environmental Commission.
Yes. Tomorrow, the Environmental Commission is having a Wrangle weed invasive plant removal exercise at Winslow Sports Park. The BCOS members are invited if they can attend. It'll be from 4 to 6 o'clock at the meeting in the southeast corner of the south parking lot, which is close to Winslow Road. Also sort of related to this is that Christy Lindberg, who is the outreach person from the utility department, is willing to meet with you as well as the Environmental Commission to give you an overview for what I assume, from knowing her for quite a while, the cooperative, volunteer, etc. efforts, environmental efforts, the utility department, things like mulching, leaves versus having the city sweep them up. So she'd be willing to meet with you people, your commission, as well as with my commission. So if any of you want to attend tomorrow's activity, we canceled it. It was originally going to be yesterday, but with the wind conditions and the chill factor, we decided to use the alleged rain date, which is tomorrow. This would also give you the opportunity to see some issues with trash in our parks. Particularly what we're working on is trying to support the green canopy and long-term environmental goals of the Environmental Commission, which is biodiversity wildlife corridors, which is parallel to one of the objectives of the Parks Department. So we are trying to address the invasive plants, and also killing the invasive plants, we're trying to use the waste material to control erosion and also provide a suitable habitat for replanting of native trees, and the Parks Department goal is to plan ahead for climate change with plants that will, when they mature, will be maturing in a climate that is most favorable for them and for providing green space for in the community. And again, the wildlife corridor process is also part of the mission of the Environmental Commission, as well as the Parks Department. And the goal is, again, biodiversity and protection of green space.
Awesome.
So, again, you would be welcome. And
So 4 to 6 tomorrow, Winslow Sports Complex? Okay.
yeah,
Awesome, thank you.
no, Winslow Sports Park, whatever. Anyhow. Yes, sir. Anyhow, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, is there anyone else from the public who would like to give a comment?
No, no one.
All right. So,
That's.
sorry, was there anyone?
No.
It's two commissions related to parks.
Oh, and so report
One are
from
members,
acting
it's also
chair.
that commission.
I don't have anything to report, other than, it seems like we're not gonna do, I joined a bit late, but it sounded like people were saying we didn't have quorum, so we're not gonna do official elections tonight. Was that what?
Correct.
Is that right? Okay, so, yeah, I can continue to be acting chair for another month, and hopefully I can attend in person next month. I plan to do so tonight. I just had a meeting that ran over, which didn't allow me to make it there in time tonight, so I apologize for that. And so next on the agenda is report from staff liaison.
Yeah, I don't have a ton. I was going to provide another update on vacancies. So we filled another vacant position from a mayoral appointment. So I was going to welcome Sarah and then give you the opportunity to introduce yourself while we talk about that. So if Sarah, you want to introduce yourself and yeah, tell us a little bit about how you decided to be a part of the commission.
Yeah, so can you guys still not see me, or can you?
We can see.
We can see you in the
Oh,
recording.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi, so I'm Sarah, and I am a graduate student in college right now for the Person School of Design for graphic design, but I was an environmental studies major at Virginia Wesleyan, and I moved back here. I grew up here, and I lived in Virginia. So I wanted to join this commission because I wanted to get connected to the community again and impact it sustainability-wise and just kind of get into my field a little bit more. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
And then there's just 2 other vacancies now for Common Council seats. So I'll continue to keep you guys updated the more I hear. And then the other thing I was going to do was give another Earth Day reminder. We're continuing to update that site on the sustainability webpage, but save the date for that. So April 22nd at Switchyard from 1 to 4. We're having our first annual Bike to Earth Day. So we're, I don't remember if I had already told you guys last month, but we're working in collaboration with Go Bloomington, which is our alternative transportation platform. And so there will be food trucks, beer trucks, fun for kids. We've reached out to a lot of people in the community who are going to be tabling, talking about various different like environmental or sustainability efforts. So hopefully it'll be a super fun day, and we're hoping for that to be the first annual of many. So yeah, keep that on your calendars. And then I was just gonna provide a reminder about agenda preparation and meeting attendance, since we do have a few new members that have started more recently. As I'm still learning things as well, I want to put the reminders out there for you all. So if you miss 3 meetings consecutively, your spot gets marked as vacant, so just keep that in mind and make sure there's like an open line of communication. If you are not able to attend a meeting, whether that be just with myself or myself and the co-chairs. And then just in terms of meeting cohesion, for agenda preparation, I'll try to have a little bit more time than I did this week. There's usually a whole week where you guys can send stuff for agenda preparation, but just making sure that if you do have something that you'd like to discuss, or particularly like I mentioned in my email, like something that will be helpful for me to share, like slides or whatever, in the case where our screen actually works, just keeping that, like, again, line of communication so that we can have a cohesive meeting while we're here. So just a few reminders for that. That's all for me. And then Matt, by the way, Nejla, he's not here. He said he might be here around 6:30, but said that he didn't have anything to report.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, and sorry about my dog there. I might have to put her in another room if she can't behave herself. Let that be a warning to you. Thanks, I saw Matt's email, so we can do the report. We can have him give his report when he gets here. Okay, so next on the agenda is reports from commissioners. The Just Transition Working Group. So Caitlin and I, we met with 2 organizations in the last month in that working group. The first one was Zach Hudick from Bloomington Transit. And we are speaking with them about efforts that we might make collaboratively with Bloomington Transit. With our commission, that would be in line with our goals of our working group, which are social equity and environmental sustainability. We also met with Nathan Ferreira from the Bloomington Community Land Trust with similar goals in mind. So they were just like initial outreach meetings to kind of find out what they're doing and try to identify places where our commission might be able to help advance both of our goals at the same time. So yeah, so those went well, and we'll be following up on the information to come out of those meetings in the future. And so the next working group on the list is the Heat Task Force.
Thanks, Nigel. So our last meeting, we really accomplished a lot. We had Michaela, she gave a little presentation about the Inflation Reduction Act and some other possible funding sources that we might be able to tap into. Those funding sources, they just have been promulgated and issued, and so there's still a public comment period, so we're still waiting to find out more about those funding sources. Hannah gave a presentation about the ERI's Green City Mapper. We might be able to use that instead of, if we don't get chosen as a 2023 cohort with campus strategies to map our urban heat island, we might be able to use the Green City Mapper, so that was a great presentation too. We reviewed the heat management plan outline that I created. It kind of helps us to map out all the different projects that we've talked about. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and we might be ready to talk to you about trying to get some students involved to help manage those projects. There's a lot in there, so we'll see what we can do, but We're really excited about that. We also reviewed the climate action plan. There's quite a lot of heat management initiatives in the climate action plan, and so it was really good to see all of that in one place. I pulled out all of the different sections that talk about heat management, so there's a lot of mitigation projects, education outreach, different initiatives like cool roofs, green roofs, that type of thing. So these are all things that we've talked about. So a lot of work to be done. And so I'm also reaching out to different commissions. I'm going to be giving a presentation at the Monroe County Environmental Commission next month to talk about our work and to try to get more people involved. We also reviewed some website materials that I put together. And so I based that off of other websites that I've seen across the country that are really well written and provides a lot of really great information. So those websites we're hoping to get developed for the health department and emergency management. Nolan found out that we have 36 drinking water fountains in Bloomington. We're going to have to go on a scavenger hunt to figure out if they are still there, if they're working, if they're hooked up, and what the status is. But our goal is to make a map and have all the drinking water fountains on the map and all the different resources that people can tap into, especially during the heat wave. So that's something we're working on.
That actually could be fun.
Yeah, I think so
Turn it
too.
into a scavenger hunt.
Scavenger hunt,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, kind of like little checklists is working is fun.
Then mark it on the map.
Yeah. Right. I met with HealthNet. I met with 2 ladies from HealthNet last week, and they're an organization that reaches out to unhoused residents who need medical attention, so they provide services for them. And so they're going to give a presentation at our next meeting. And so we'll try to figure out how we can collaborate and work together. And then they also connected me with a doctor from the IU Health Emergency Room, Dr. Butters, and so hopefully we can start working with him, and I'm hoping that he can provide some data, health, heat-related illness data from IU Health. So the more statistics and data that we have, the more justification that we have for our work. So hopefully we'll start working with him as well. And I did hear back from Cabbage Strategies. They're still reviewing all of the applications, and we should know, hopefully within the next week or so, whether we've been selected. It's a lot of exciting work that's been done, and just keep moving forward.
Can I add something?
Yeah, sure.
So, if we don't get the Capital Strategies grant, and even if we do, this might be something that could supplement it. I talked with my ERI group that I'm in, and we currently have I pulled up this because it's a long name. It's the EPA Environmental Justice Collaborative Problem Solving Cooperative Agreement Program grant. Right now we have one with Keep Indianapolis Beautiful in Indianapolis, but they have a grant cycle open right now that's being supported by the Inflation Reduction Act. It's one of the group of grants that's being supported by the IRA. And I talked to my group, and it may be something of interest that we write a grant together to support heat mapping if we don't get the Capital Strategies grant, or some supplemental projects for the heat emergency awareness. So it's just something to think about. But the grant is due April 14th, so it'd be something soon. So
Okay.
yeah, so I just wanted to put that out there.
Oh,
I didn't want to
great.
wait until our next heat task force meeting to bring that up. So
Sure, if you want to meet.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
Okay.
Question, well, these 36 water fountains, these were all within city buildings?
These are on our GIS, on the city's GIS.
Okay,
So
okay.
mostly, I think it's all parks is what's
So
that, what it's
outdoor.
for.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah, outdoor, sorry.
Okay, so who knows whether they're actually working or any of
Right.
that stuff, okay. Have you guys ever?
And I know they turn some, I mean, the heat part doesn't matter in the winter, but they turn some off in the winter, so I don't
Right.
know, like, what they'll
Mhm.
be on, if they turn them on sometime soon, so even if we do go out now,
yeah.
we have to reach out to them, so.
And see which ones are actually turning on. Okay. Have you guys ever heard of Source Hydro Panels? It's a company based out of Arizona, and it's solar panels that actually power a device that pulls water out of the air and then it filters it and mineralizes it. And depending on how many panels you have, it's not cheap, but it is something that you can put anywhere, given that you have southern facing sun. And so you can put it in, once again, wherever you want, and then especially in areas that are specifically very hot and have no drinking sources, that you don't need plumbing, none of that stuff. So you could potentially get grants for that. That's source.co is the website. Yeah. Any more questions?
Okay, thanks for that report, and especially, yeah, thank you for looking into the water fountains, because I know that has been an issue in our city in the past, where during heat waves, where either most of the water fountains weren't working, or if they maybe weren't even turned on, I think at some points when we were in great need of them. So that is something that I really appreciate your working group looking into for a community.
Sure, yeah, dehydration is something that's preventable. You know, all heat-related illnesses are preventable, so it's really important.
I know particularly in Seminary Square because I work with a mutual aid organization that feeds people there. And I know just personally, I've heard reports from people there that the water fountain in that park a lot of the times isn't turned on. And I don't know if it's intentionally or not, but that's what some of the people there seem to think. So it'd be nice at least to know, you know, if we can get some of these fountains working, and if we can, you know, make sure that they're turned on in places where they're needed the most, especially when they're needed the most during heat waves. So thank you for that.
I would love to have someone from the Parks and Rec Department in our task force. That would be really
And I'm really looking forward to hearing from HealthNet as well. So thanks. Yeah, I'm actually on another commission, on the Public Safety Commission. We're actually hoping to do some outreach with them soon as well. So I'm really looking forward to hearing that presentation. Thank you.
Would it make sense to also have a map at each fountain where the next closest fountains are? Because I definitely don't know where they are, but I'm also not someone that needs to use them because I'm not in those situations. But just knowing where they are is half the battle.
Right, and then if we could have like a website and have like a QR code at the drinking water fountains, and click on this, you know, go to this QR code, go to this link, and you'll see the map, and wherever you go.
Right, you could even potentially make a comment on that water fountain. This one is not currently working, so there could be almost up to date for whoever at the city is responsible for that. They could then see that and say, oh, we need to get this one working, potentially.
Okay, thanks. Any other comments on the heat task force? Okay, moving on to waste management.
Waste management, we're not able to meet this past month, so we have no updates. But
We're continuing to work
Okay.
on our project. We have assigned duties that we're working on, but we didn't meet.
and with Joseph dropping, leaving the commission, we are looking for additional folks to join
Yes.
the waste management working group.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so the next on the agenda is discussions, not resolutions. And I've got one thing. It's the fossil fuel non-proliferation treaty. And unfortunately, I don't have a presentation prepared. But the treaty itself has a pretty fantastic website that I would encourage you all to look at in your own time. And this is a treaty that I would like our commission to consider encouraging the city to join and sign. And the treaty itself is it's an international it's an international treaty that has been signed by dozens of nations and dozens of mayors across major cities, especially major cities in Europe have signed on. And what it does is it tries to address the problem of fossil fuel use, not from the standpoint of encouraging people to use less, which would be in economics a demand side solution, but it's actually from a supply side. So it actually tries to get the producers of fossil fuels, or more specifically, the governments that the governments wherein fossil fuels are being extracted and processed, to agree to hard limits to address climate change. And so while we don't extract or process any fossil fuels in our city, or even in the county, this, like I said, lots of mayors actually have signed this treaty, and getting city mayors to endorse it and getting city councils to endorse it, it does give a lot of weight to the treaty. And it also can help us spread awareness within the city of how it would possibly affect how it might affect some of the work we do in the city. So preliminarily, I've reached out to the city on this to get their input, and I'm looking forward to hearing from, I reached out to ESD Alex Crowley, and he also forwarded it to the mayor's office, so I'm looking forward to hearing back from them, to finding out what the city's initial views are on that. And so I'd like to hear if anyone has any comments on such a treaty, one way or the other. I know you guys haven't had a chance yet to look at all the details and look at the website and see what it is, but does anyone have any thoughts on that?
Is the website fossilfueltreaty.org?
Let me check. Yes, that is the website. Yeah. Yeah, it's officially the Fossil Fuel Non-Proliferation, and so as you can maybe notice, they use similar language to nuclear weapons, right? Because we talk about nuclear non-proliferation, and it's the same idea. It's to start getting world leaders to treat the problem of climate change like the existential threat that it is, the way that we treat nuclear weapon proliferation. And to, again, address it not from a demand side problem. I mean, obviously we need all kinds of solutions, but this specifically is a supply side solution that tries to get the actors that are actually extracting the fossil fuels to put hard caps on that. Okay, so hearing no other comments to that, I'll plan to hear from the city, see what they think, and I hope to have a resolution to put in front of the commission soon on that. Resolutions for first reading. Are there any resolutions for first reading?
No.
Okay. I don't think there are any resolutions for second reading, although I'm not sure, because I missed last month's meeting.
There
Fair
are.
enough. No.
Okay. And new business.
I have something.
Any items of new business?
Yeah, as we've been talking about, familiarizing ourselves with project management, just today, there's an organization called greenprojectmanagement.org. They are a standard and certification for green project management, which focuses on running projects in sustainably. They just released a new standard. It's about 100 pages, but it's great for exploring the framework of project management with a focus on sustainability. It's free to download. If you take a look at it, that's actually how I got introduced to the SDGs. So it uses them heavily and appropriately. But it may provide you another perspective in dealing with your projects and how to find solutions that fall within the sustainable framework. So I just recommend everybody check it out. As we are all part of this commission and we do projects in sustainability, it's also a certification that may behoove you to pursue just as a professional accoutrement. So I recommend everybody check it out. There are different levels of it, but it's a useful tool and it's a good organization to be a part of. I have the GPMB, which is basic, means basic familiarity with green project management, and it's a valid certification. You have to test for it, but it's something that could be of use to all of us. Just want to throw that out there.
Thanks, I know I could definitely use some project management improvement in my project management skills, so thank you for that resource. Any other new business?
I will just throw out that I sent out an email earlier today. I know we had talked about doing our social hour, and I planned for it, just like very informal, happening at the Crazy Horse after the meeting. I'm just gonna go ahead and plan for that to be available every month, because different people have different schedules, and whoever can attend can attend. But it'll be monthly, and I'll make sure that happens after every meeting. And if you can come, then that'd be wonderful.
Maybe we could invite different groups each time.
Yep.
That's what I do.
Yeah, maybe even if we have like speakers addressing the commission, such as Health Net, we could invite them to that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sadly I can't make it tonight, but probably when I'm there, I'll try to make it on those meetings when I'm there in person. So thanks for arranging that, Emma. Okay, if there's is there any other new business?
Don't think so.
Okay, then I will hear motions for adjournment at this time.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, hearing no objections, this meeting is adjourned. Bye, everyone, thanks.
Bye.
Have fun at Crazy Horse.